Okay, this is going to be a quick start guide for getting connected to Three Kingdoms for the first time. The first thing you're going to want to do is head over to wemudtogether.com. This site is specifically built for the Three Kingdoms mud. Under Resources, go to Newbie Help. And here on the left, there are some suggestions for different mud clients that run on different operating systems. For now, we're going to be focusing on TinTIn for Windows. So I'm going to click here. On the TinTIn site, up at the top here, you'll see installing Win10++. Click the download link. And again, the Win10++ installer is what we're looking for. So I'm going to click that. All right. And the Windows installer for TinTIn it does not have a code signing certificate. The client was or is primarily made for Linux operating systems. So in this case, it is a safe application, but you will get this pop-up when you're running this installer. If for some reason you don't want to do it this way, you can install the Windows Linux subsystem and do a full Linux install in Windows. And instructions for that are available on the TinTIn site. But for the sake of this video, we're going to go ahead and use the Windows installer and choose Run Anyway. Here, I'm just going to take the defaults. Okay, now before we create our character, I'm going to do some prep work for TinTIn. TinTIn saves your configuration as a text file to whatever directory you've chosen for that purpose. What I'm going to do here is create a TinTIn directory under the C drive. And this can really be anything, just something you can remember to reference later. Now I'm going to open up this the application we just installed, Win10++. And all I'm going to do here is create our initial configuration file into this folder that we just created. So I'm going to write TinTIn. I'm going to call this 3k.txt. All right, I'm going to go ahead and close this now. And here you'll see it's built a basic config file. One of the more useful things in here that I like to change initially is this repeat enter config. This is for when you enter a command to the mud. If you need to type it in multiple times rather than doing it over and over, you can just hit the enter key and it will keep sending the last command that you entered. So I'm going to go ahead and change that. And one thing that we want to set up initially to make it easier to type in commands, we're going to dedicate a single line of our command window to our input. So to do that, we're going to use the split command with a single line. And go ahead and save that. So this time I'm going to start with the Win10++ GUI. And this allows you a more friendly interface for creating that initial connection. I'm going to click New. Just call this 3k. The host name is 3k.org and the port is 3000. I'm going to point to the file that I just created. And we don't have a character or password yet, so we'll leave those blank. Hit save here. And before we hit connect, on the newbie page on We Mud Together, you'll see the character creation process is here. If you want to look through this beforehand, think of a character name, etc. There is a requirement for a valid email address, which optionally can be displayed to other players or not, but it is required for creating a character on 3K. All right, so now we've got our 3K selected. I'm going to hit connect. I'm going to make up a character name. This question here is your connection capable of seeing ANSI colors. TinTIn does support that, and it's very useful to have color support in your client. So go ahead and make sure you select yes for that. Okay, our character is created. I have a password for it, and let's see. It will prompt you on your initial character creation if you want to take the basic tutorial. It is recommended if you've never mudded before or you're new to 3K. It helps get you through some of the initial how to use the mud, how to move around, start combat, etc. That information is also on the newbie page here uh, with more information on the tutorial and what to do if you don't feel like doing the tutorial. You'll also find other information here about getting started and some of the basics of the mud. But that's it. We've got a character and now we're on the mud ready to go.